The lecture hall of the Andromeda Galactic Academy stretched 300 meters in diameter, its crystalline dome revealing the swirling nebulae beyond. Lauren Shin sat in the back row, her worn leather jacket a stark contrast to the iridescent robes and bioluminescent exoskeletons of her classmates. She traced the intricate mandala tattooed across her right hand, black ink forming geometric patterns that spiraled from her knuckles to her wrist. The human thinks she belongs here, chittered a Zelnari student, its translator converting the clicks into standard. Laughter rippled through the amphitheater, a discordant symphony of alien amusement. Lauren didn't flinch. She'd heard worse in the 3 months since Earth had been granted provisional membership in the Galactic Coalition. Humans were the newcomers, the primitives who'd barely achieved faster-than-light travel, while others had mastered it for millennia. Professor Qualrex, a towering Viridian with skin like polished obsidian, activated the holo display. Today, we examine the quantum labyrinth, a theoretical construct that has defeated the greatest minds across 7 galaxies. Only 3 species have ever produced individuals capable of solving it. His multifaceted eyes gleamed. Humans, naturally, are not among them. More laughter. Lauren felt Chase's hand on her shoulder, her only friend here, a fellow human who'd arrived on the same transport from Earth. His green eyes held a warning. Don't. But Lauren was already standing. I'd like to attempt it, Professor. The hall fell silent. Then the laughter returned, louder this time, cruel. Sit down, primitive, hissed a Kryn noble, its serpentine body coiling with disdain. Your species still wars over resources. You haven't even achieved collective consciousness. Professor Qualrex raised a crystalline appendage. Miss Chun, the quantum labyrinth isn't a simple equation. It exists in 11 dimensions simultaneously. The last being who attempted it unprepared suffered permanent neural fragmentation. I understand the risks. Lauren walked down the aisle, her boots echoing in the sudden quiet. I request the right to try. The professor's colors shifted, surprise, perhaps, or concern. Very well, but know that failure will be instructive for all present about the limitations of your kind. The holo display expanded, filling the air with impossible geometries. Shapes folded through dimensions Lauren couldn't see, equations written in mathematical languages Earth hadn't discovered. The labyrinth pulsed with hyperdimensional logic, each pathway branching into infinite possibilities. Lauren closed her eyes, ignored the whispers, ignored Chase's worried breathing behind her. She raised her right hand, fingers splayed, the mandala catching the light. What the aliens didn't know, what Earth hadn't shared in its initial diplomatic files, was that humans had been navigating impossible mazes for thousands of years. Not in mathematics or quantum physics, but in something more fundamental: art, music, story. The human mind didn't process reality linearly. It dreamed. It created metaphors. It saw connections where pure logic found only chaos. And Lauren had spent 15 years studying mandalas, those sacred geometric patterns that mapped the infinite onto the finite, that transformed chaos into meaning. She opened her eyes and began to move her hand through the holographic space. Her fingers traced patterns in the air, following intuitions that had no names. Where others saw equations, she saw rhythm. Where they calculated, she danced. The mandala on her hand began to glow, not with any technology, but with bioluminescent ink that reacted to her neural patterns, a body modification technique combining ancient tradition with cutting-edge neuroscience. Each line pulsed in sync with her thoughts. Impossible, breathed Professor Qualrex. The labyrinth was responding. Pathways that seemed contradictory suddenly aligned. Dimensions collapsed and expanded in harmony with Lauren's movements. She wasn't solving it through calculation. She was feeling her way through, using pattern recognition that evolution had burned into human neurology over millions of years of survival, creation, adaptation. Her hand moved faster now, the tattoo blazing with light. The geometric patterns on her skin mirrored the structures in the labyrinth, creating resonance where there should have been only confusion. She was translating mathematics into art, art into solution. Chase watched in awe as the impossible happened. The quantum labyrinth, unconquered for 3,000 years, began to unravel before Lauren's dancing fingers. She's not calculating, whispered a Morosian scholar. It's 3 brains working in parallel. What is that process? Intuition, Chase said softly. It's called intuition. With a final gesture, Lauren closed her fist. The labyrinth collapsed into a single point of brilliant light, then dispersed into solved equations that filled the display. Perfect. Complete. Elegant. The hall erupted, not in laughter this time, but in stunned silence that slowly transformed into something else. Respect. Professor Qualrex's colors shifted through the entire spectrum. In 3,000 years. How did you? Lauren lowered her hand, the tattoo's glow fading to ordinary ink. She was trembling, exhausted, but her voice was steady. You asked how humans survived on a death world with no natural advantages. No scales or venom, no size or strength. We survived because we learned to see patterns in chaos. We painted on cave walls. We sang to stars. We told stories around fires. We turned the universe into something we could understand. She turned to face the assembled students. You see mathematics. We see music. You calculate. We create. Different paths to the same truth. The Zelnari who'd mocked her earlier lowered its antennae, a gesture of apology. We underestimated your kind. Most do, Chase said, stepping forward to stand beside Lauren. But that's our advantage. We're not the strongest, fastest, or smartest. We're the ones who never stop trying to understand, to adapt, to transform the impossible into just another problem to solve. Professor Qualrex approached Lauren, his massive form somehow diminished. Miss Chun, that tattoo, it's not merely decorative, is it? Lauren smiled, flexing her fingers. It's a map, a reminder. Humans have been solving labyrinths since we first looked up at the stars and wondered what they meant. We've just been using different tools than you expected. As the class dissolved into excited chatter, alien students crowding around to examine the solution, to question, to learn, Lauren caught Chase's eye. He grinned. Think they'll laugh at us tomorrow? He asked. Lauren looked at her hand, at the ancient patterns that had helped her navigate an alien puzzle, at the bridge between human intuition and galactic knowledge. Let them try.